YouTube, what's happening? Mr Altier giving you observation from the real world. Now, on today's video, people, the topic title is going to be manhood from a fatherless child's perspective. Now, before we do kick off in today's video, I do want to excuse the lighting. Currently in a vehicle at the moment, but I'm hoping that you can see me. But I've said this multiple times, people, on this channel, the main thing is always a message. It's not about me. I'm just a spirit sharing a message to the world, right? So what do I mean when I say manhood, right? Well, manhood is essentially that rite of passage that every male needs to take into becoming a man, right? It's the transition period from a boy to a man, right? And also on this channel, I have a video titled Evolving from a Boy to a Man. Now, what do I want to speak on? Well, I want to speak on my personal journey, but also fatherless child, people out there in the world, right, that can relate to what I'm saying. So I think for me, growing up, right, my father died at a super young age, and automatically I was in a female heavy household, right? And I reflect back on life and actually look back at the time period of, I guess, where I stayed with the women in the house up until I moved out into the real world and started fending for myself, essentially, right? And I definitely can see a difference in how my mindset has shifted over the latter years of my life, because obviously I'm becoming a man, right? But I can also see the effects that had being in a heavy female-based environment, right? In a sense of, as a male, I was a little bit more emotional, right? In my younger years, I was a lot more erratic, right? In my younger years, I was less independent in my earlier years, right? All of these things, right, they culminate, and if you're not aware of it, right, they carry on into adulthood. And sometimes people forget that everything in life always starts from the root, and the root is when you were born and so forth. And that time period that you have in your childhood is extremely important, because that's where you're essentially programming your brain. So when you reprogram your brain to do what you know is the right thing to do, it makes things a lot more difficult, right? So I think for me personally, I realized that on my individual journey, there was things that I had to change about myself in order to become the man that I want to become. And it's extremely difficult when you don't have that father figure based role model to look up to, right? Most people that I interact with fortunately have both parents there. Therefore, they have that balance within a relationship. I think for myself, it was understanding that there was no balance and understanding that it's okay to know that, right? But additionally, you need to be aware of what it means to be a man. Now, automatically, I may look into other gentlemen in the world, right? Maybe it could be an uncle, it could be someone else's dad, right? But I think for me, it was difficult because I knew who I was, right? And also who I want to become. And a lot of the men in my life weren't the sort of men that I want to become when I'm older. No disrespect to them. They are their own individuals. But there was probably internal traits that I noticed about the individuals that motivated me as an individual to say, okay, cool, let me work on this, right? And like I said at the start earlier on in this video, being emotional, right? I took that off. Right? Don't be emotional, man. That is not a masculine nature sort of behavior, right? Being erratic, control yourself, be a man, right? Being independent, at the end of the day, my job is to what? Provide, protect, at the core, at the absolute core. So knowing that, well, work on that if you're not already doing that, right? Control yourself. Self-control is extremely important. Self-discipline is extremely important, right? Discipline is the key to evolving and letting that masculinity grow out of you, right? I'm not trying to come in here and be like, oh, masculinity, oh, Andrew Tate, etc., etc. No disrespect to those guys out there in the world. I'm just literally just saying, be a man, right? It's difficult because, once again, being a fatherless child, you don't have those role models to look up to. So you're having to now tap into spiritual worlds, virtual worlds, to look at traits of other people. And for me, what I've done in life is kind of take things from men that I see across the world and implement that into myself as an individual and work on that. But also be patient with yourself. This journey into evolving to being your own man isn't going to be easy. It's going to take a long period of time, right? Because you're essentially reprogramming your mind, right? Understand you may clash with, once again, the women that raise you in your family, because they're seeing a different side of you come out and they're realizing, whoa, he's becoming a man, right? He's no longer a what? A boy. So when you're maneuvering in this world, be self-aware and understand, where am I in life? Am I actually working on the things that I need to be in order to become the man? Am I actually going forward on this rites of passage as a transition from a boy to a man? Or am I just wasting my time and my life and just being a waste of space on planet Earth, right? Reflect, people. It's a difficult thing to do, but reflect. Also, being stoic is a form of masculinity too. What I mean by that is being calm, not letting outer external things validate you and affect you as an individual, right? That is the key, because you're essentially what? Almost like a rock, right? Being a man, you also need to be the rock. Hence why you need to protect the people, but you need to provide. So there's a hunter instinct in yourself and there's a warrior instinct in yourself. But there's also that what? Rock, which is the root, the foundation, right? People should be able to come back to you, feel safe around you, right? Those traits allow you to be a man. Understanding that will allow you what? To evolve, if you haven't already, to be the man that you want to be. Now, once again, I'm nowhere near the man, because I'm in my latter years of my 20s, but I've got another few more years to go through in order to hit that point of becoming a man. But if I don't put the work in now of the things that I don't have, i.e. my weaknesses, well, things aren't going to be looking great 5 to 10 years from now. So make sure you put the work in, people, and work on yourself as an individual. So to all those fatherless children out there, don't feel bad. You know, unfortunately, we aren't dealt the best cards, but work on yourself. There's no excuse. There's no victim mentality in this channel. So understand that it's all right. Just keep building, keep growing, and look out for those traits that you see in individuals and apply it to yourself. You don't necessarily have to take everything from an individual, right? So I'm hoping those who relate to me on this frequency within the Altier community take this information seriously. Peace and love, people. Mr Altier out.